This is going to be a quick explanation of subjects in Notes Studio. So the first thing to know is that they're optional. You can just create notes and save them to your hard drive like you would any file, but subjects exist to help you organize them. So let's start by creating an example subject here. Choose a nice red icon for it, and there it goes, shows up in our list. So if you select it, you see the timeline. This is where your notes and assignments can be stored and organized. So let's start by adding a note to it. We'll just make it a basic note with some text and save it to our example subject here. And there we go, it gets added to the timeline. Let's add an assignment now. Our first homework assignment, writing a paper. So you can have a title, a description, the date it's due, and if you have a handout that describes what needs to be done in the assignment, you can drag it in here to organize that information. And you can create a reminder for it. Now if you choose the iCloud, that is going to let you sync it across all of your devices so it shows up on the calendar on your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac, everything. And by default, it's going to create a new calendar just for this subject to make it easy to organize and filter through things. But if you want, you can add it to a different calendar. And then the reminder, let's just do one day before. And there we go, there's our homework assignment. When you're done with an assignment, you can right-click it and mark it completed so that you know you've done it. Now let's add a memo to our timeline. So this is just kind of a marker. For instance, saying when your midterm is. And the nice thing about doing that, marking when your tests are, is that makes it really easy to study everything since the last test. So other things you can drag into a timeline are URLs. You can drag in a website. And you can also just drag in various files, whatever you need to track. So this here is what a subject looks like after you've been working on it for a while. So this is just for an online intro to biology class I was doing for fun. Down at the bottom here are links to all the resources on the website. The green ones are notes I took on video lectures, and the blue ones are the notes I took on the readings. Now, you do have the option of viewing it as just a list of files. That way you can sort it alphabetically or by date. But personally, I really like the timeline view. And the last thing I want to show you here is if you right-click a subject, you can rename it or delete it. Exporting it will just flatten it out into a file that you can back up to a DVD or send to someone who wants to read all your notes. Or you can store it in iCloud here so it gets synced across your Macs. And the archive option is for when you're done with the class. You don't necessarily want to delete all your notes, but you don't need to see it in the list. So archiving something will hide it, but if you click the Show Archive button, it shows up again. And finally, here's our support menu. If you have any problems, any suggestions, or just any questions, shoot us an email.